started. Okay, streaming starting in 3, 2, 1, started. And everyone, and welcome to another day of our podcast. Today, we're going to be answering all of your fitness questions. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. Do not be shy. Feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions that you want to ask. We're going to be going through any questions, any misconceptions, anything you're concerned about. You have the freedom to ask. Make sure to raise your hand and you'll be welcome to the panel. If not, you can use the text chat in the podcast chat to ask text-based questions. Voice questions will have priorities over text-based questions. And let me just make sure that Cap is here. Answering your question is Chris. Chris has over a decade worth of experience. I'll let Chris introduce himself.
Hi guys, hope some of you know me by now. I'm Chris, personal trainer, online coach. I've been doing this for well over a decade, going on 15 years. Any fitness question you've got for me, hit me up. Beginner questions, if you've got any questions that you're not sure about, if you ever think you have a stupid question, it's better to ask it now, safe and supportive place, than keep it to yourself and make mistakes going forward. If you've got a question, odds are everyone else hears the same question, they're just too nervous to ask. This is a great chance to get yourself on a good start to your fitness journey, or if you've got more advanced questions, if you're stuck at a plateau, any question you've got for me, fitness, training, diet, sleep, anything, let's get it sorted.
Perfect.
You're all welcome. Any questions?
Cool. If you guys are thinking of a question, okay. I see a few questions in the text chat. How should we do this? I think before we do the text questions, you know what? I can do the forum questions. I'll screen share and we can go through the forum questions. This way it's more voice interactive. Okay, someone has raised their hand. Okay. Hello, Orpos. I've accepted you to come to speak. Guys, please don't be shy. It makes for a better podcast to have voice-based questions. Yeah, so while we're waiting for people, you can still ask your text-based questions if you want. Right, let me go to, I think we'll go through
nice one, KJ. Continue, man. Good stuff. I'm glad it's working out well for you. Ready to come back as well. Love to see it. So guys, Cap will be answering the questions by text. If you want me to have a second go at it, just drop me a tag in it as well, and I'll drop a second response as well. Oh, we have a joiner. No, we don't. It's just, oh, it's exciting. It's just there.
Yeah, just screen share.
Hey.
Right. So let's see a good question that we can go through. Okay, I think the workout advice ones do really well. So I'll also send a link to this in the chat so you can see it. So I started working out recently. Unfortunately, I can't go to the gym at the moment, but I try to stay consistent with my workouts and do my best at home. And here I come with the question whether this workout routine is all right. I want to focus on growing my glutes and tone my stomach. Aside from that workout, I do around 15 to 20 minutes of Pilates a day too, and an hour of Elliptical. I'm doing this exact workout routine for 2 weeks now and don't see any changes as for now. I think that's, yeah. I need some advice. So this is their workouts. You've got yourself muted, actually, Chris. I don't think you know.
Oh, it's my fault. I need some kiwi, sorry. So my first question would be, what's nutrition look like? Because we can't really divorce eating and exercising, but this is just about workout routine. Initial thoughts are it's a lot of exercise. If you're doing the elliptical for an hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. If you're doing Pilates for 20 minutes, again, that's much more activity. So can you just scroll to the next slide of this? Because this is a lot of things. Okay. So there's a lot of working out. Flip back for me if you could. It's all at home. There's lots of ab work. We're trying to, one of our goals was to tone the abs, which is understandable. But we're doing lots and lots of ab building here, which you don't really need to be doing. In this case, I focus on some planks instead. I don't see any upper body in there. I would like, was a bit actually. It's a small on day 3. I'd like to see a bit more upper body if possible. Generally, the exercises look good, but 2 weeks is a very short time. You need to stick with things for a longer period to see actual proper results. So this program is okay. I would get stuck in with it. Make sure you slow down to get your reps in properly. But this looks fine to start with as a beginner at home. Stick to it for an extra 2 weeks, see what happens, and let me know your nutrition in the comments here on the actual post if you want me to get comments on nutrition to sort that out.
Perfect. We've got another one, which I think it's a review of an existing workout. I think these ones.
Oh, Greg Knuckles. I love Greg Knuckles. Okay. I love Greg Knuckles.
So what's your insights on this workout? Or is it something you like, okay, that's all right?
We can have a look, sure. I'm doing the Greg Knuckles beginner program. Excellent. He's a very, very good programmer. I love his stuff of strength training. The next second week, I have to do bench press. My first week was like this, 35, da-da. Okay, hit 25, 15 reps. Barely hit 2 reps before failure. How would you adjust the weight? So I should aim to do 1 more rep before until you hit the top range. So progressive overload, basically. I already know if I go like 37, then I'll be worse up. Okay. So if you could just if you could show me the actual programmed stuff, that'd be great. Okay, so it looks like we're doing a typical, what we call a reverse pyramid on this. So that means you're doing a heavy set first, and then you're going to lower the weight and add reps up, as opposed to a pyramid when you'll do higher reps and low weight and build up to the top. Reverse pyramids when you start at the top and then you take weight off, add reps, take weight off, and add reps. So in this case, the bench press, which is not this page, please AO scroll for me kindly. It's not the bench press. There we go. Okay. So I'm quite impressed you managed to get so many in this case. If you're going to start off with 35 kilos for the first set, I would go down to 30 for the second set and then probably 25 for the subsequent set. Really, your priority here is to do a lot of reps in the first set, getting the main bulk of the work done in the first set, and then the extra volume by taking off the weight and adding reps. So 35 for the first set, I'd recommend. 30 for the second, and 25 for the last one. Don't worry about putting the weight too low for that. Just get the reps in. It's more important to get the reps in than go super heavy.
Perfect. I think most of these seem to be like workout routine reviews. What should my push B day be like? What's your insight on this?
Ooh, push B, which I presume means we're doing push-pull legs 3 times a week. Push-pull legs, and a rest day, some variation. So this is day 1. We've got incline Smith press, 3 sets of 5 to 8. That sounds good to me. Pec flies, nice. Dips are very good. Lateral raises, we like it. We're not sure on the partials, but it's fine. The last set, that's not too bad. And tricep extensions. Drops down the second and third set because everyone loves to do a drop set. Okay, so in which case you've got a really good day here. You've mainly got horizontal pressing though, so pressing away from the chest. And we're missing out a lot of vertical pressing here. So you haven't got anything, to me, that's an overhead press. You've got a dip, which is close to a vertical push, but it's not quite. So I'd like to see probably a seated machine overhead press in this one. I would probably like to see some rear delts, unless you've got some in your pull day. And you can do a different variation of triceps. So for example, if this one you've done a standard standing tricep push down with a rope, I'd recommend doing an overhead tricep extension just to really work on the long head, just to balance it out. So here you've got a very chest focused day with a bit of shoulders. I suggest you doing opposite way around really and do more of a shoulder pressing dominant day, just to balance out the horizontal and the vertical pressing. That's my recommendation.
Perfect. We've got a unique one that doesn't seem to be similar. So this one's about fasting. Also, this person is 13 to 17. Hi everyone, I'm trying to get down to 45 kg. I'm about 52 kg and I'm 17-year-old. I'm a female too. So now I'm thinking of intermittent fasting. But even if I do the window eating, can I really eat like whatever I want in the eating window and lose weight? And I'm not like saying I'll eat like crazy. This person likes but if anything helps. What do you
Okay.
think about this, like, Chris?
So this is a good one. Fasting isn't, I don't think it's as popular now. It used to be more popular, and I've done intermittent fasting. I did it for quite a long time. It worked well for me at the time. Um, I will do the obvious caveat here that if you are young, you shouldn't be trying to cut too much weight, especially if you're a young woman, because it can affect your hormones, try and get too light, and it's not good for you long term. That said, fasting is fine, it can work, but it's not any better or more efficient than any other calorie deficit. So most of the time when you use intermittent fasting, so that means having a period of the day in which you don't eat, and then a smaller eating window. The classic is the Lean Gains Martin Birkin version, which I did, which was 16 hours not eating, then 8 hours eating. So for me, I did that 11 a.m. I ate from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. I didn't eat outside of that. It's a good way if you struggle with hunger because you can not eat for a while and get food off your mind, have water, have some coffee, go on your day, but it's not more efficient than just a regular calorie deficit. Intermittent fasting generally works because you limit the amount of time you can eat. So the smaller time period you have to eat, generally the more full you're going to get, and then you're not going to eat as many calories. I will say quite strongly, as you're a 17-year-old woman, I wouldn't recommend intermittent fasting. I'd rather see you eat more healthy meals throughout the day, smaller meals. 52 kilo. One thing you don't have here is your height or your training experience. So we need to have that involved here. So intermittent fast, eating like crazy, it works because your hunger is relatively controlled within it. I would recommend not doing this, and sort out. Hope that
Perfect.
makes some sense.
Yeah,
One
and
moment.
also they're
One
fairly
moment.
young as well. So, guys, just another warning. I think I gave it last week. I know that it's summer and there are a lot of fads out there, and a bunch of people are trying to get into like the best physique ever. Don't do anything drastic. There's not going to be any miracle. The truth and the secret is time, hard work, and consistency, and discipline when it comes to nutrition, and making sure that your lifestyle suits your goal. Right? If you want to look athletic, you have to be athletic. Even if it's by lifting weights, doing calisthenics, cardio, or training like a sprinter or whatever. Your lifestyle will reflect how you look. That's how life is, right? That's how the human body is. Got a really cool one that's very interesting. Billy Goat, and I think I've seen it in a podcast a few times. Um, Yo, is my home gym good enough? I can cancel my gym membership, or is room too small? So yeah, Chris, what's your insight? I can probably get this a bit bigger. That's what she
And then I
said.
guess I'll look. Wow. So it really depends what your goals are. This looks like it's got a bench press, adjustable bench there, so you can incline if you want to, maybe up to an overhead press for a seated overhead press. Looks like you've got a squat rack to the right. Looks like you've got plenty of plates. So it depends what your goals are. For general strength building, general muscle building, it's fine, but you are going to find some limitations. I can't see any dumbbells there. There could be. So you've kind of limited yourself to barbells as your main tool, which is fine, but it's not a very refined tool, so it's quite difficult to do smaller muscle groups. You're going to have to focus on general big movements. I think it's fine, but if you want to do pure bodybuilding, I can't see anywhere there to do a pull-up. I can't see anywhere to do any dips. They're very good movements. You're going to find it quite difficult to train your abs very hard outside of weighted crunches. I'd like to see somewhere to do a hanging leg raise. That said, it's entirely functional. It will work. This is how I spent the first 2 years of my training, and I pulled 210 kilos in a deadlift from training a very similar setup. So it'll work for strength. It's fine. But for the aesthetic and fulfilling in the small muscle groups for a fully rounded physique, it's going to be quite difficult. For example, leg training, you can squat, which is great. You can do deadlift and RDLs, but there's nowhere to really train your calves very heavily outside of normal standing calf raise. You're going to struggle to do real quad focus development here, and it's going to be quite difficult to isolate your hamstrings. So as general strength training functional, it works, it's absolutely fine. But for a pure physique aesthetic development point of view, you're going to probably need to supplement it with something else. Maybe add some bands or something like that.
Perfect. And I can see like in this corner here, well, the zoom worked way better than I expected. He's got some like other equipment here. So
What's an ab wheel?
yeah, ab wheel, yeah. So work for his abs. I don't know if this is a mat. I don't know what that is, but yeah. It looks solid. Better than what I had at his age. Let me see.
I'll say, yeah, it worked me
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah. So if you need to save money on gym membership, don't burn it out unless you can probably end up getting free gym membership from like school or uni if you get good grades or whatever. I don't know how it is now. Cool. Next question. Feedback on my PPL program. This person has it all in a nice format. So Chris, what's your insight on this user's PPL program?
Okay. Leg day, straight into ab wheel. That's fine. I like how you have legs first. We very rarely see legs first in a PPL. So this would be an LPP, really, if you're going to be funny about it. Squats 5, which I presume it's 5 sets. I presume it's not just 5 reps of squatting onto the next one. So yeah, if we could have the reps range, that'd be handy. But 5 sets of squats, that's fine. Remaining deadlifts, I like remaining deadlifts, good. Leg press, leg curl, leg extension. That's very comprehensive. It's quite a lot, but that's not a bad thing. That hits basically everything. And quickly jump ahead to the next leg day, which does not have any curls, unfortunately. So I'd like to see, sorry, any calves. I'd like to see some calves there, ideally, one of the days. Push, barbell bench press, very strong start. Dips, crossovers, cable, yep. Lateral raises, yep. Yep. That's absolutely fine. Day 1 for pull-ups, machine. Not sure, is it maybe it's assisted? Can you imagine? A bench row. Nice, you don't see many bench rows. I hope that's like a seal row rather than a one arm row, but that's fine. Seated row, yep, my favorite exercise. Bicep curl, ab wheel. My man loves the ab wheel. Back extension, machine. Yep, cool, solid. We are blending a lot of abs into the leg days, which is fine. So the second leg day looks like basically the same movements, really, which is fine, but I'd maybe switch out to, for example, a front squat instead, or maybe like a sumo deadlift instead for the Romanian deadlifts, just a bit of variation, or stiff-legged deadlifts, just so you have the same exercise twice in a week. It's not a bad thing, but it's fine. For leg press, you could change a variation, but I really would like to see some calves in one of these leg days if you want to get a full leg development, ideally with a 3-second pause at the bottom and at the top. Push day again is benching again, which we're encountering the same issue as before. We're doing lots of horizontal pressing, but we're not doing much vertical pressing. Even if you switch it out to an incline bench rather than just a flat bench, something better for your shoulders. We've got the reverse, so then the pull day next one. We've got pull-ups, machine, reverse fly, so we've got some rear delts in there, which is nice. Seated row again, which is great. Bicep curl, cable, which was, I think it was different to one before. Cable again, that's fine, maybe a different grip. And then deadlifts at the end. So I would not really like to see deadlifts as a last movement in a pull day. Also, this means, in this case, whilst it's not a full deadlift, you've got Romanian deadlifts on day 1, you've got Romanian deadlifts on day 4, and day 6 you've got deadlifts, barbell deadlifts again. So that's a lot of deadlifting in a week. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it takes a lot of stress management. And I really wouldn't put deadlifts at last in a pull session, and I really wouldn't do it after abs either, because it's going to fatigue your ability to stabilize. If you go into deadlift, do it at the beginning of the workout. And yeah, don't do abs before that. You can do stabilization, you can do some planks beforehand. I always do side planks and regular planks for a few seconds before I do any deadlifts. I wouldn't do any intensive ab work before that. Other thoughts are, for the abs, I can't see any leg raises. I think leg raises are very, very good for developing the lower abs in particular. I can't see any planks in here. I like planks just for building stability. I think they're a very underrated exercise, especially good for building up your squat, if you do squat, which you do. Side bends are fine. Rainbows are, so lots of twisting, lots of movement for the obliques and things. I got the ab wheel for stability, but I would like to see some planks. I would like to see some standard crunches in here, honestly. Weighted crunches make a big difference. And some leg raises. Apart from that, it's generally solid. There's a lot going on, lots of sets. You've got, even for the less leg day, you've got 4, 4, 5, 4, 4. So you've got some long days in here. I would maybe drop a set of each of these exercises just because it's a lot of exercise. You can be doing for a long time, 6 days a week. But you're on the right lines, just put it down a little bit.
Perfect. That's actually amazing. That's probably one of the most in-depth analysis of a routine that I've actually witnessed, which is good. So, guys, for all of you guys who are shy and not asking any questions, you could have had that high quality of response, which would have most people pay top dollar for that. Right. Cool. I've got a few others that we can go through here, and then we can probably start going towards the text-based questions. I actually like this format a lot, and I see a bunch of questions in the forum where they've got a few answers, but this way they get a better breakdown. I'll probably try and clip this up and send it to each forum, hopefully.
I was going to say, if you can link these, if you post these into the actual forums, that'd be great, I think, just so they can actually see the...
Just clip it up and just like, hey guys, this question was answered. So I've got one where it's an advice on protein powder. I am very acne prone. Sorry, this just completely put me off.
I have very acne prone skin.
Okay. I have very acne prone skin, and so the whey protein causes more acne. I just wanted to know if anyone has recommendations on either vegan protein powder or just another form of protein powder that doesn't affect acne.
Okay. Not a dermatologist, but I will say that as a precursor to any of this advice, no one needs to have protein powder. It's an additional supplement. You can treat it as whole food, but no one needs to have protein powder. I didn't take it for the first 10 years of my lifting. Didn't hold me back at all, but it's convenient. So if you feel like you have to have whey protein powder or any protein powder, you don't. However, to answer the question, yes, if you do have acne prone skin, anything milk-based can cause additional flare-ups for your skin. You can look into vegan protein powders, that's fine. You can also look into beef-based protein powders. You can also get egg-based protein powders. Pea protein powder is quite recommended, but it does taste terrible. I can verify that. Otherwise, make up the protein by having more protein-rich food. So it could be low-fat Greek yogurt. It could be an extra serving of lean protein like a meat. It could be having quark. It could be anything else. So don't feel like you have to have protein powder, but I would check out egg-based, beef-based, and vegan sources are also fine. So, on top of my head, soy, I wouldn't look into soy too much, but something like pea protein is a good choice. And the guy, Wombat Helmet, is correct. It's generally more expensive, and don't feel like you have to have it. And hello, what's the activity here?
Yeah, Baxton that's in the audience is messaging on each one as we're answering them. I'm trying to find one that's unique, that's not a workout plan review. That seems to be very okay. This is a good one. Motivation tips. I am looking on tips to stay motivated. Right now, I have a personal trainer, but in 2 weeks, I'm moving to a new city and won't be able to afford a new trainer twice a week anymore. My school I'm going to has a insanely nice gym, as a rock climbing wall and zip line and other cool things. But knowing me, I won't have the motivation to go twice a week like I want to. I would go 2 or 3 times, well, then just not anymore. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so disclaimer, self-plug. If you're moving to a new place and you haven't got necessarily the funds to have an in-person personal trainer all the time, you could look into online personal training. I know a great guy who offers that. It's a good way to keep accountable. It's a good way to keep on track for a program, and it's got a lot of advantages. For example, if you move to a new place, you can keep consistent with the same trainer. That personal self, that's aside. You need to think about your goals. You need to think about your motivations, what's going to drive you. I know A's got a lot to say about this, but I do think if you can build it into your routine, I think, as we said before, motivation comes and goes. But if when you start building a routine, build some consistency, that will drive you and take you so much further than trying to rely on motivation, which does come and go. So maybe try to, if your school gym is great, I recommend going straight after school. Maybe go at lunchtime if you've got a few minutes there. And it does depend on what your goals are. If you're trying to get huge and absolutely jacked, which doesn't sound like you are, then it's different. But if just being active, just enjoy the facilities, try to build into your routine, maybe before school, after school, maybe try to do it before you get home. But 2 or 3 times a week is great. You don't have to go every single day. So you often go 2 times a week. Just build into your routine. Even if you don't feel like it, you can say, I'm just going to go, even if I just get changed and get in the gym, or just go to the climbing wall, that's enough. And often, that's what I do for myself. If I'm really not feeling it, I say, right, do I genuinely need a rest day, or am I just feeling terrible? If I'm just feeling crap, I'll say, fine, I'll go to the gym. And if I do one set of one exercise and it feels terrible, I'll just go home. And 9 times out of 10, I'll end up having a really good session. So all you need to do is start building some momentum, trying to realize you've got goals to get to, or you just want to exercise and be fit and healthy, what your goals are for that. Build it into your routine, build the habits, and then motivation will take care of itself. Sure, AO's got some great thoughts on this as well.
Yeah. And also to the guy that you're referring to, we all know who he is. It is not Strike Force. It isn't. I forgot. What was the saying again? You should remember this because this is great. This is like the best. You should make this your ad. Right, let me think about this again.
I'm getting you to do it. Do it for me.
Oh yeah, it is not Strike First. It isn't Strike Force. It is Strength Force. No, Strength First. Make sure to support Chris on all platform STR First. And I'll just post this. Yeah. So concerning
STR
motivation,
first.
Yeah. So sorry, Chris. What did you say?
I was just confirming it's actually STR first, standing for strength first, not just whether you're chatting about.
Yeah, SDR first. I'll post it in case anyone missed it. Don't worry. Work in progress. Add work in progress, guys. You know, we're taking it through the workshop and we do this live. All right. So concerning motivation, my stance on motivation is very fickle. It comes and go. Oh, actually, I'll get into that. Goats, feel free to come up to the panel. I'm just going to quickly finish this and then you can ask your question. Yeah. So
thank you.
No worries. I think I can hear myself. No, not anymore. Sorry, I've got like ADHD or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So, shut up.
Yeah, so motivation comes and goes. It's very fickle. It's not something that's very consistent, and it's not something you can fully rely on. What you essentially need is discipline. Discipline trumps all. No pun intended. Trump's probably going to win the US election. Anyway, no politics in the server, I guess. Right. So motivation comes and goes, right? And you can get motivated by small things, music, lifestyle. You see someone inspires you and stuff like that. That comes and goes. So that's why you need discipline. You need discipline to be able to schedule what you need to do, plan towards it, and be consistent. Discipline is going to take you through the hard times, the breakups, life not going as you planned, and it's going to take you to where you need to go when you don't have motivation. Motivation can be a fast burning fuel that can get you from point A to point B, but it's not going to be what's going to get you to point Z. And yeah, so that pretty much is my stance on that. Goat, feel free to ask your question, mate. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely amazing.
All right. So basically, what's going on with me right now? I'm 14. I'm getting into fitness. Just got done with a relationship. I'm not really sure what to do from here. I'm 170 pounds, which is a lot. My BMI is like 0.1 over. It's saying so. I'm really not sure what to do.
Okay, no worries. I will say take BMI with a grain of salt. I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you are 14, you didn't say how tall you are, but it doesn't really matter. What you should be doing is what everyone around your age should be doing, which is getting used to exercise, finding exercises you enjoy, and getting into some good dietary habits, learning to cook some good food and eating a balanced diet. So you started earlier than I did. I started when I was just turned 16 in my fitness journey. So what I'd recommend you is start doing some bodyweight exercises. You don't need to be in a gym. You don't need to be lifting super heavy weights. You don't need to be Sam Sulek. You don't need to be absolutely huge. What you should be doing is just focusing on building really good dietary habits, which means finding some proteins you enjoy. It means eating some fruits and vegetables that you like, finding at least a few you can eat each day, and do some basic exercises, get some walking in, be fit, be healthy, and get moving is the main thing. As you're 14, you don't need to be doing super hardcore bodybuilding. In fact, you shouldn't be trying to do too much powerlifting. You should be building a high level of general fitness through walking, running, sports, some press-ups, some bodyweight squats, maybe some pull-ups if you get to it, and then use that as a foundation to really kick off any bodybuilding goals you have after that. So if I were you now, I would try to find some protein I like. It shouldn't be a protein powder really. It should just be, it could be eggs, it could be chicken, it could be any kind of meat like that. Some vegetables that you like, you'll get used to at least, and start building a routine of moving and being active. That's what I try to do for you. Does that make Any sense at all? Does that help you at all?
Yeah, it does for sure. By the way, I'm 5'9". That helps a lot. Thanks, man. I've been asking people around here, you can see, but chicken I just downed a protein shake. I use whey protein.
Yeah, not a problem. That's good stuff, man.
All right, thanks, man, for all the help. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And
Any more questions?
Am I going to be on the podcast?
Yeah, you're going to be on stream, mate. It's weird because I can hear Chris's voices twice, and it's like it's annoying me. I'm just sick of hearing this kid. No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much for raising. I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for raising your hand, Goat. Really do appreciate it. Did your question get answered? You're literally the only one to raise your hand. So to keep it going, I'm just trying to keep talking to you. If anybody else,
did your question get answered? Trying to suggest I didn't answer the question.
No, I'm trying to influence other people to raise their hands.
Implication.
All right, it helped a lot. Yeah. Do you guys know the gym Lifetime?
Lifetime Fitness?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm in Charlotte, and that's basically that's what I go to. So it's nice. I do tennis there. And it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. What machines would you recommend?
That's awesome, man. I want to quickly say, if you do a sport like tennis, anyone here does a sport, do not give up your sport because you want to focus on your gains. It happens all the time. People think they get into bodybuilding, they want to get built to muscle. Oh my God, any activity that's not bodybuilding or lifting weights is going to ruin my gains. That's completely false. That's the way people get out of shape and they get really lazy. So if you have a sport now that you like, you enjoy, please continue it alongside bodybuilding. They work well together, okay? Do not give up sports you play. It's social, it's active, great for you. Always do sports if you can. Machines, I recommend. Off the top of my head, cover the basics. So if you have a seated chest press, that's good. A seated row, so pulling weight towards you, that's great. If you have a leg press, try that out. If you have leg extensions, try it out. There are no really bad machines. It's all how you use them. So I recommend, as a new person to you, like a beginner, try them all out. Don't try and go super heavy. You don't need to be doing sets where you're, busting a gut, you've got veins sticking out your face. Just learn the exercises, and you learn how to use your body. Try all the machines out. Keep a few reps in reserve, so don't go to failure. Don't be failing reps. Just try them all out, see how it feels, and then build a routine after that. But for the first, even 6 months, just try the machines out, see how they feel. Try some dumbbells out. Don't go too heavy. Just get the movements down. Try some bodyweight exercises if you can. Try everything out. That's my recommendation. I'll give you a really strong foundation. You don't need to specialize yet. That's it. You don't need to specialize at this point. Just learn how to move, and again, keep up that tennis. That's really good you're doing that.
Okay. How long should it take me to see some progress?
Depends what you mean by progress. You can see gains in strength really quickly, but generally I would say give it 6 to 8 weeks to see a noticeable difference in how you look. Weight loss is faster than building muscle, but 6 to 8 weeks is a great reference point for making a noticeable change in your body that you'll see and other people will see as well.
Gotcha. Is there a guide around here they can follow of what to do, a regimen, etc.?
Is there a guide to routines to follow around here, Ayo?
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. There's a lot of resources available. If you need any beginner workouts, you can use the !routines command or like that. I was meant to do this so you can copy it. Or you can do, the beginner command. Or, you can check the free section. You can ask some questions. And you can regularly come to the podcast, wink, wink, and consistently ask questions. Or you can speak to Chris directly. And remember, it isn't strike force. It isn't strike first. It is strength first. Getting better at it, workshopping it, and soon it'll be perfect. And Chris is going to be using it in his arts. Perfect, Go. Thank you very much for your question. I'm going to move you back to the panel. Feel free to stay to the very end of the podcast. You're probably going to be able to learn something new. Someone's probably going to ask a question that you probably didn't think of. And you're probably going to get something, educational that you can use to help you prolong your fitness journey. See you, dude. Appreciate it. And also, if you do have any other questions, you can ask later on. Shaq, I've seen you quite often. How are you doing, dude?
Yo, what's up? I'm doing fine. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Before I go into that, for all the consistently recurring podcast viewers, so I know your name off the top of my head, Army Vet Gaming, Lobster, I've seen Shaq a few times. there are a few people that I can't remember. But yeah,
See Mash a lot.
I'm going to be introducing the name is still a work in progress. It's going to be like, loyal podcaster tender. Obviously not going to be something that long, but something cool.
Something good. Yeah.
Yeah. For you guys, just to show appreciation. Really do appreciate your support. Also make sure to support Chris. And also if you do want to get the VOD of this podcast, you can get it on my Twitch and it's going to be here. And you can say hi to your mom. Cool, Shaq. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, sure. So I have a question. So you talked about before that to not give up your sports. So when school season is around, I'm usually doing like some kind of sport, like probably soccer and like track. Right now I'm doing like a hybrid program. I have more control of it, but I wanted to know like how can I balance cardio and the strength training in a hybrid program, like to build muscle and most importantly to avoid like overtraining my body. So
For sure.
right
Really
now I
good
have a
question.
bit more control of it, but when school season is around, I have a bit less control of my program.
Yeah, for sure. Really good question. I see a lot of people doing more hybrid training recently, which is great to see. I don't necessarily agree with all the way it's done, but that's cool. If you have control, basically, if you have control, it's different. If you don't have control, you have to take control over the small things that you can. So sleep and recovery is really important. So make sure you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep. That should be a given. Everyone should be doing this. If you think you're thriving off 6 hours of sleep, that's purely because your brain isn't working well enough to realize that it's not. So make sure you get enough rest.
Yeah.
The other way to control is your nutrition. Hopefully you got some control over your nutrition. I know a lot of people live at home and don't necessarily have control over all their meals, but make sure you're getting enough calories in. If you're trying to avoid overtraining and you're trying to train for performance in sports, don't get your calories too low, whatever you do, especially if you're trying to build muscle at the same time. So plenty of protein, plenty of carbs. I would probably err on the side of a bit too high than too low. It's always easier to drop a bit of fat. And if you're training hard, doing cardio and you're training weights, it's going to be hard as a teenager to gain too much fat in that regard. If you have more control over your training for sports, I generally recommend having a hybrid training to keep your muscle building intense. Make sure you train hard, but when you do your cardio, I'd like to see you doing much more steady state, zone 2 or low intensity cardio than high intensity.
Yeah.
So the idea is general premise for building cardiovascular fitness is to build a very broad base, and then you can pyramid up to the top. So a wide base means you have a higher peak. So lots of zone 2 low intensity cardio, so probably slower than you'd like, and then 1 or 2 high intensity sessions a week to build the top of the VO2 max and the performance. So strength training or muscle hypertrophy training 3 or 4 times a week probably, and then you can train your low intensity cardio every day if you want, but I'd probably make limits to 5 and then have 1 or 2 high intensity sessions within that. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, it does. Thanks for your help. And I have one more question. You talked about nutrition overall, and I'm a teenager right now. I'm 16 years old. Would you say that eating more than like 1 gram protein per pound of body weight is better? It's worse? Because I'm very active throughout the day. I know that 1 gram is a general guideline, but is there anything bad than eating like 1.2, 1.5 some days?
Yeah, sure. Good question. I would say don't worry about it. If you are slightly over, it's not going to cause you any harm. Unless you really, really go out of your way, you're not going to eat a dangerously high amount of protein. The only concern is if your protein is too high, then you're not going to get enough calories because protein is quite satiating and you'll eat fewer carbs and fats, for example. So if you get at least that, if you want to aim for 1, if you go over, that's fine. If you're under a few days, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but make sure you get enough calories in, get the protein in, nothing to worry about there.
For sure. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Shaq, and really do appreciate your consistent attendance. Feel free to stay to the podcast at the very end. If you do have any other questions later on, you can feel free to ask. And yeah, I'm going to move you back to the panel. See you, dude. Thank you very much. I'll move you back to the audience. The panel is the top part, right? Goat has another question. Hey, Goat, how are you doing?
Hey, good. Sorry to come back again so early.
all good.
All right, so basically, you know who Brett Maverick is, right?
Yes.
I saw you roll your eyes. Something bad with him? So you do.
No, I'm just trying. No, that's purely me trying to recollect everyone, trying to keep track of. That's all. Do you have any specific questions about him?
Yeah, I have a question. I saw a video called the perfect workout routine for teens, science-based. Would that help? I put the link in the chat here.
I will take a very quick look and see what it says.
Thanks, man.
Perfect. While Chris is doing that, thank you very much, guys. If you do have any text questions, or if you have any questions you prefer to ask by text, type. Make sure it's clear and easy to read. God bless all of you guys who've typed up paragraphs, right? It's gonna be a fun experience. And yeah, resend it now. So rather than us like scrolling through, we'll try and get through all of them. If we miss it, let us know. And once again, thank you very much. And yeah, make sure to check out the VOD, follow the Twitch, and also support Chris. Just trying to fill up the airtime. What did you guys do? Oh, Euros are going on. Is it you guys watching the Euros? It's coming home. They all said it wasn't. They all said it was going to be boring, but England, we found a way to finesse our way to the finals versus Spain. Germany didn't survive. Spain didn't survive. Portugal didn't survive. We're lucky that Messi isn't in the Euros. Thank God he lives in the Americas. They have the copper, whatever that thing is that's going on. Hey Chris, how you doing?
It looks quite solid. I don't have an issue with it. I haven't watched it all in depth, but from the brief thing, he seems to talk a lot of sense. I would recommend. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Perfect. So I just follow his workout routine.
Yeah, that'll do for a start. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think I should see results in like 6 weeks?
Yep, I expect so. And let me know. Drop in to let us know how it goes. Yeah.
Do you want me to turn on my camera and see what I look like, or do you know what we do? I mean, I'm not bad, but
no, it's fine for now, man. No problem. Just let us know in a few weeks how it goes.
Thanks so much, man. Have a good one.
You're welcome. Thanks, man.
Thanks again, Goat. And also, don't try and rush into things. I can see you're very enthusiastic. It might be the newbie phase. It's gonna take time, and this is something a lot of people always experience. You're not gonna see instant results, so don't let that make you lose motivation. Now it's the fun part of the podcast. Chris, you ready? You want to do your stretches, your breathing techniques? You want to get your grapes in? Right? Yeah, cool.
Grapes are gone.
Cool. Now we're answering the text-based questions, right? Text-based questions are very hard to get through, but Chris is solid at it. That's why I always appreciate everybody who comes up to the panel, guys. Don't feel shy. Don't feel like you're annoying. We're a community to help support each other. So Chris, go ahead and feel free to, pick whichever one you want to go through.
Let's have a look. Also want to shout out to Cap. Thank you for helping with these questions throughout. You've done a really good job with us.
Oh yeah, huge shout out to Cap. Round of applause for Cap. Getting really good at answering questions and also supporting us.
Cap. Guys, please tag me in your questions so I don't miss them. But Mr. Clean, I know he's been really patient, so I'm going to read this one. Given my current situation of having lost 108 pounds, Jesus, good job, man. For initial weight of 315 pounds to 207 pounds at 6'3", the current estimated body fat percentage of 28%. I use the US Navy method till I get DEXA down. Should I continue cutting to reduce body fat despite concerns of reaching an unhealthy weight, or can I achieve body recomposition by maintaining my current weight and continuing strength training? My initial goal was to reach 190 pounds, but I am unsure how far I should cut to achieve a healthy body fat percentage without ending up at unrealistic body weight for my height and build. I am concerned that continuing to cut too much. Sorry, that's not true. I am concerned that continuing to cut to reach 12 to 18% body fat might result in an unhealthy weight, especially considering the loose skin I have, which may skew my estimated body fat percentage. I was debating getting down to 170 pounds. Again, seems it might not be an ideal weight for my build height. We'll have to loose skin removed. Yeah. Happy to add my current macros and calories. Any questions? Okay. First of all, good bloody job dropping 108 pounds. That's really impressive. Considering you lost so much weight, I don't know how long you've lost it over. I would say now is a great time to do a body recomposition. It sounds like you lost a lot of initial fat. It'll give your skin a chance to bounce back a bit, some elasticity. And yeah, I don't really think if you're 6'3", you need to be 170 pounds. 190 pounds may be unrealistic, and you've obviously got a good awareness of what could be healthy or not for your body. let yourself stabilize for a bit. Give it a month or two. Try to stabilize the body weight. Keep training hard. Keep eating well. But it's probably a good chance to give your body a chance to recover. I do want to briefly say I wouldn't worry too much about body fat percentage. It's nice to have a metric, but it's always an estimate anyway. And as I always say, no one walks around with a body fat percentage written above their head. No one knows what a body fat percentage really looks like because it manifests so differently on different people. For example, 10% on me may look very different to someone else. But it sounds like you're on the right track. I wouldn't be aiming for 170 because that's a very low body weight for your height. Also depends on your frame and things like that. But yeah, I would, if you're around 100 and if it's 108 pounds, it makes you 207. Yeah, I think it's probably about time you have a bit of a chance to recompose for a bit. You keep training hard, still get your cardio in, but don't try to eat too much of a calorie deficit. But you're doing a really impressive job, man. Good stuff. I hope that's answered the question. I'm going to quickly scroll up a bit because we've had, Cap, you've been busy, my man. Good grief. You've been working hard. How are we doing?
Okay, Biggs does have a voice-based question. Do you want us to do that first?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No.
Hey, Biggs, how you doing? Feel free to ask your question, dude.
Hey guys, good afternoon, good morning. I just have one question for you, Chris. I wrote it in the chat, but I figured I'd just ask you in voice chat real quick. So as of recently with my prep for Worlds, I've been obviously eating in a caloric deficit to try to get down to my goal weight for my cap for my competition. And I noticed that when I was eating, like I would just go out and eat McDonald's per se, right? And it'd be 3,000, 3,500 worth of calories within a day. And I'd still be very, very hungry. But as of recently, I switched to, like, just for an example, I've been eating ground beef, rice, and broccoli, and that's it, right? And I've been eating probably a little bit more than half less calories than I was. So it was like 3,500. Now I'm eating 1,500. But it's a lot harder to consume those 1,500 calories worth of clean food. What's the reasoning behind that? Why is it so much easier to eat fast food and still be hungry compared to actually healthy food?
Sure, really good question and good to notice. So a lot of this comes down to calorie density. So that's how many calories are in, say, each mouthful of food. When you have things like, a lot of fast food is deep fried. The fries, obviously, are deep fried. You get lots of fats and calories added through the cooking process. When you have more fatty meat, there's more calories there. So if you have a lean burger with 5% body fat, 5% fat percentage for a burger is very different to, say, a juicy 20% fat burger. So a lot of it comes down to basically the calorie density and how much fat is in it as one. Other things come to palatability. So if you have lots of salt, it's easy to eat as well. Additional artificial sweeteners, additional flavorings make things more palatable, but don't necessarily make you more full. So when you have things, a lot of fast food, if you have things like ice cream, also calories in drinks, be aware of calories in drinks. If you have milkshake, for example, you can have a 700-calorie milkshake, drink it like nothing. It's obviously much less filling than eating 700 calories worth of, say, dried chicken breast. So it basically comes down to how much fat is in the food and how much dense the calories are based on that. For example, 100 grams of a regular potato, if you just boil a potato, that'll have 70 calories. For example, if you have a small McDonald's fries, that's going to have 300 calories, and it's not going to be as filling because it's not as satiating. It's not going to fill you up as much. Also comes down to protein. Protein is the most satiating of the 3 macronutrients, and it's got the highest thermic effect. That means it will burn more calories just by consuming it and processing it through your body. So when you have high protein, it's going to be more filling, opposed to saying, so for example, eating a chicken breast is more filling than eating a ribeye steak for the same weight. So that answers your question a bit. It comes down to the calorie density and fat and additional fun things added to fast food that makes it more palatable, that doesn't actually fill you up.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, AO. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thanks for asking the question, dude. That actually makes a really good podcast. I'm going to try and clip that up. Everyone also remember Biggs Worlds is in 2 months. You can do command Biggs Worlds. And make sure to support him. He's been supporting the server for God knows how many years, like half a decade. So I really do appreciate it. Cool. Goat has another question. Go ahead, Goat. I really do appreciate it. I kind of shot myself in the foot by saying he can ask as much as he wants. No, I'm kidding, dude. Go ahead.
All right, so you saw what I put in the chat, right? Basically, I copied what he said. I put it in here.
Let me quickly check.
Okay,
I
you just
can't
want a
say
review
I
of your
really have that.
routine. Chris, it's at the very bottom. I'll ping
Okay,
it.
I see.
well, I see. After every workout, I see a number, then a comma, then a number, then a comma 3 times.
Yeah.
What does that mean? 12, 10, 8, etc.
Really good question. Good question. So that is the number of reps for each set. So for bench press, the first set they want you to do 12 reps. Second set they want you to do 10 reps, and the third set 8 reps.
Okay, and how long should I take a break between sets?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? All right, man. So I should do all this in one day?
No.
No, I'm saying the thing.
Okay, I didn't see the first part.
goes-
Yeah, it should be split up. Why am I echoing? So yeah, leg day is just a leg days. It should be better annotated, but yeah.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate you.
Perfect. Yeah, it has the days split up. So yeah, just make sure to you can see it's got like day 3 and stuff like that. But yeah, and yeah, thanks for asking a question, Goats. Chris, do you need to stretch again to get back to the text questions? Are you good? You need to breathe in,
Right.
have a grape, sip of water.
I've had my grapes.
I don't know where we're gonna start from, but yeah, I'll let you go ahead and have.
I'll have a look. I know someone's tagged me and someone's been very patient here as well. Keel, where's your question, my man? Keels are here every week.
By the way, guys, in the future, to make it easier, make sure to tag Chris and also post again when we get to the start of like the questions. I think I found it, Chris. I'll just tag it to you.
How do I not get thigh cramps? I was kind of active today, and my left thigh has a cramp. But I want to have a game to play tomorrow. So what do I do? Hydration. Have lots of water. Have some electrolytes if you have them, and get some salt in, and general light stretching. That should help you out. Alvin, I'm 15. I'm underweight. I'm trying to get a good BMI. My old weight is 48.8 kilos, I presume, and my current weight is 49.6, and I can't gain any weight anymore. Even if I increase my calorie intake with 3,000, I still can't gain weight in 2 weeks. Is it normal? 5'9" height. Yes, it can happen. It can be quite normal. I will say, double check your numbers if you're tracking. It's very easy to overestimate calories and things. When people think they're hard gainers, ectomorphs, it's generally because their counting is off and they're more generous with calories, and I think a handful of food is bigger or smaller than it should be. So I'd recommend just tracking it so you make sure when you're getting these calories in, they're actually what you're eating, and make sure you're consistent. The biggest thing, another big thing I see for hard gainers or skinny guys is they'll get really hyped up. They're going to get ready. I'm going to really gain some weight. They'll go really hard one day, get absolutely stuffed, and then they'll nibble on things the rest of the week. They won't be able to maintain that. So if you have a record of it, make sure you're getting these calories in each day consistently. You should be gaining weight at that height and that body weight, definitely. So make sure you're consistent with it. If you can track it over a week, just make sure you know what you're getting. If you're still struggling, I recommend going to liquid calories. So things like milk, extra calories through that, juices and things like that, that will be able to fill you up. That's the opposite. That will allow you to eat more calories without filling you up. Liquid calories are great if you're struggling to gain weight, but they're terrible if you're trying to lose weight. So track for the next week. Come back next week of the podcast and let me know what the calories are for the week, and I will give you solid advice from that, Alban. If you're still here, if not, someone tag him so we can watch the VOD.
Yeah, he's still here.
Oh, good man. Right. Elio, I have hit a weight loss plateau and I can't lose any more weight. I can't lose weight anymore. Any tips? Check your calories. Another thing is just to check that you're tracking the right number of calories you're having, if you are. If not, if you're struggling, I recommend trying adding some light cardio each day, just going for a walk, and then slowly build it up to some low intensity cardio that will get some fat moving, get your body moving, more active. That makes a big difference without tiring you out too much or taking up too much time. If you want to make dietary changes, we'll do what we mentioned before, which is switch to lower density calories. So for example, if you're having beef, maybe switch to chicken. If you're having pasta, maybe switch to potatoes instead. Add some bulk through some vegetables, hopefully steamed or lightly cooked. And then you can have enough, you can slightly lower your calories without lowering your volume of food you're eating. But also be aware that fat loss isn't necessarily a linear process. Sometimes you'll lose lows over 1 week, then you'll maybe go up the next week and then have another low. I really see that in my clients, and that's why tracking is so important and being accountable and keeping to the plan. Because a lot of people start losing weight, they go down quickly, then they steady out, then they go up and they panic, and that's when they think dieting doesn't work for me. When in reality, if they wait an extra 2 weeks, it'll end up there. So don't rush the process, be consistent, make sure you're being accountable to yourself, you're not making mistakes, make sure you're not going off program, you're throwing away the baby with the bathwater for a bad week. Fat loss is not linear, it's a process that takes time, so trust the process. I'll come back in a week and let me know how it goes. You shy mushroom. Where we go? Deadlifts are indeed amazing. Would 4 times HIIT be bad, and why? So high intensity interval training, which I presume is going to be related to, we're talking about cardio here. 4 times HIIT would be quite bad if you're trying to build muscle alongside of it, because it's very draining, it's very hard on the system. It's also generally going to involve your lower body a lot, and it's very hard to train your legs productively to build muscle if you're always tired and knackered. So it may be very good for building at, put appropriately in a program. If you really build up a really strong endurance base and you want to peak for some sort of endurance event that requires a very high level of performance and VO2 max, that's absolutely fine. But generally, that's going to wear you out over a week, and it's going to limit your ability to build muscle. So if your ability to build muscle is your priority, it's not ideal. Sprinting, would sprinting be HIIT? Yes, it would be, definitely. Mashed his first deadlift. Good stuff, man. I love deadlifts. I did deadlifts yesterday. I'm doing dumbbells on 30s, going 32s. How would I transfer that on barbell? Okay, so there's not a real strict mathematical way to do it, but the general rule is once you become proficient in the movement, the combined dumbbell weight is 80% of a barbell. For example, for dumbbells, we use really simple numbers here. If you're good at barbell benching, you built the skill. If you do 40 kilos per hand for dumbbell bench press, you should be able to do the same reps with 100 kilos on the bench press, barbell bench press. Again, this is presuming you are skilled at the movement. So if you've never done a barbell bench press before, you're not going to be able to do as much weight. But that's a general rule, and it's just general. It can change. It's not the same for everyone. Some people are very good at barbells. Some people are very good at dumbbells. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. We did Mr. Clean. Mash. Some machines are max, other machines are only 23 kilos. Yeah, machines are very different as well, so I wouldn't worry about that. There's no real consistency between machines. What I tend to do is treat each machine and have my own personal record per machine rather than try to compare across machines. It's not never going to work properly. It's always slightly different mechanisms, slightly things are different, so I wouldn't worry about it. And Mash is gone. Sorry to hear that, but I hope he catches this VOD. I did answer his questions. Baxton, how do I get bigger arms? I've been bulking for a while and experimented with splits. Get bigger arms, you train them directly. So make sure you're getting probably 8 to 12 hypertrophy sets for your biceps and your triceps a week. Make sure you're getting close to or hitting failure on your sets. Make sure you're doing isolation movements for your biceps. So that's doing a curl. You can build big biceps by doing rows and pull-ups, but you're going to build bigger biceps by doing actual curls. Don't neglect your brachialis, which is the muscle underneath your biceps. So that you want to do some hammer curls. Don't neglect the long arm of your long head of your tricep, which means you're going to be this long head on here, which means you can do overhead extensions as well as regular press downs. Also get generally stronger at compounds that'll help you out. Munzo, what's better, rope or straight bar for tricep push down? Potato, tomato, doesn't matter. Whichever you like. Treat them as slightly different, but work both of them, that's absolutely fine. Biggs was here. Lobster, we want to support Biggs with his questions. Let's not be rude. Can you do a bicep flex? No, I don't want to embarrass everyone. It's fine. Where are we? 15 reps for squats. Yeah, it's quite high, but if you're not a coward, it's fine. Lobster, it's fine. Okay, Alvin again. Trying to get to healthy BMI. I'm asking the server lately, what should I bulk, lean or dirty? There are guys go for dirty, some go for lean. I don't recommend ever really going for a dirty bulk because that means intentionally eating foods that are bad for you. However, if you are that lean and you're that skinny, if it helps you get the extra calories in, then having a bit of chocolate or stuff is absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't sweat it. You don't have to choose. The dark chocolate. I've eaten it. Yes, I've got some more. I've almost finished it. There's still some left.
My question is, why is it censored? That's the real question.
I can't tell you that. It's classified. Mr. Clean, can I stop at 190 pounds and maintain my weight while reducing my body fat percentage? Yes, you can do that, absolutely. Is it realistic to maintain my body weight at 190 through maintenance calories and continued strength training while achieving a lower body fat percentage? Yes, that it is possible. It's reasonable. What I've read about body composition suggests that those with body fat above 25% should stay in a calorie deficit and continue losing weight. However, this approach doesn't seem ideal for me, so I'm not sure if maintaining my weight and lowering my body fat percentage is possible at 190. I've seen no reason why it wouldn't be possible at 190 at all. No reasons. Alvin, you're welcome, man. I know it's a bit late delayed. Got the questions. Oh, Biggs, you're very kind. Really kind.
I think you were saying that because of me, but you can get some of the credit.
Probably not. Probably not. Okay, Baxton, I go heavier on arms. 4 to 8 reps is optimal for gains. It's fine, but my general preference is a bit higher reps for arms, purely because the elbow is quite a small and unstable joint, so I wouldn't want to go super heavy. Keep your heavier stuff. If you want to go super heavy, keep it for machines and compounds. You can do it maybe for a machine curl or something, but I would rather see you do, say, 8 to 12 than that. But potato, tomato, it's in the hypertrophy rep range. If you're still working hard, you're still taking good rest periods, no reason it wouldn't work. But if your progress has stalled using those rep ranges, consider bumping up a little bit.
Okay, jump straight to Armies, Vets, Gaming's question. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Back/box 8/4/12 to 15, leg extensions, low curls, blah 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 blah, low curls, and split squats. Is there anything I need to add? Probably wheelchair after all that. Good grief. Hack/box squat. So is this? I presume is this a barbell hack squat? You've got a lot of sets here. I'd probably drop a set for each of these just because you're going to be there all week. Good mornings, they're fine. I don't really like good mornings really as a hypertrophy movement too much. I like them more in a assistance way for powerlifting, but it's fine. You maybe swap it out for a leg cable pull through instead. Jump rope, 50 minutes, walk, run. Awesome. You hit all the bases there. Maybe change the order a little bit, but generally fine. Christian, thank you for joining. How's you, man?
Yeah, Chris, how are you doing? Feel free to ask Chris a question.
Good. How are you guys?
Hey, Chris, are you gonna answer Chris's question?
Perception.
Chris, we can't hear you. Speak up while you ask Chris your question. I'm just gonna make this so cringe. Rule of threes. I've said it 3 times. Quick question. Actually, my question is: do you guys have the same? You and Cap, do you have the same anime-based picture?
Caps is an original one. Okay. Caps is OG. So okay.
No, I was just wondering if it's the same anime because it's both suits. Anyway, sorry for distracting you. Go ahead, ask a question. And also, Lobster is calling you out for calling him out. Sorry to interrupt you again, Chris.
He comes on the podcast once, he gets all this
I know, right? He just gets interrupted every time. He doesn't return next week. Lobster's calling you out. Why are you calling him out? I'm guessing it's because you were reading the chat logs and it's probably historic messages and stuff like that. Now go ahead, Chris. I'll just mute myself.
Yeah, so I guess there's a question that Wookie has been wanting to know. What are the differences between a diet break and refeed days? And when do you think we should incorporate one over the other?
Okay, so generally a refeed day is part of a overall diet. So it's when you strategically have low days and you have higher days to refeed. I don't really like this process. I find it quite outdated, to be honest, because it suggests that your diet is got a problem and needs a refeed day. And a diet break would be a longer period, so maybe a week or 2 weeks, maybe longer, in which you eat normally or are on a strict calorie regime. So refeed days are okay if you want to have them, but generally they have to be more progressed in. They were more popular about 10 or 15 years ago. They used to be really into low carb days, high carb days, which I think is a bit dated and it kind of doesn't really work. Diet break is when you're fed up with training, you've been going for a high calorie deficit for a long time, or you just need a break and life's got too much, you need a break. So, or you just have a holiday and want to chill out for a bit. So generally a refeed day, summarize, a refeed day is scheduled into as part of a diet, and a diet break is what you have after a diet.
Which one do you prefer personally?
I'd rather again, you can then say it's like a cheat day, which we don't really do again anymore, which I did for a long time, which was very gluttonous and terrible, but it worked for fat loss. I would rather see you have a more sustainable diet for a longer time over a period without having to have refeed days, because I do find having a refeed day leads to more diet anxiety. People worry about it more. They want to have the right calories. Is this clean enough, or not clean enough to count? You go into stuff like carbonite and all that type of stuff for ages ago. So I'd rather see you on a sustainable diet and then have a diet break after a few months for a short period than have refeed days built in, because that suggests to me there's an issue in the diet that needs to be fixed within it. But that's just my preference.
Okay, sounds good. One last question. What are your thoughts for reverse dieting?
I like reverse dieting. I think it's a good concept. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it helps you maintain your leanness, but I do think people can be a bit too obsessive with it. So if you have issues with being too compulsive with your diet or too obsessive, I recommend taking a diet break and then just starting anew. But if you can do it and keep your right headspace, I think reverse dieting is absolutely reasonable and fine.
Okay.
And I guess for the
Elephant, sorry to
people that
interrupt.
are-
Elephant in the room. What
He's
is
not sorry.
reverse
He's not sorry.
dieting?
Yes.
Can you explain?
So reverse dieting is basically, as it sounds, reversing a diet. So it suggests you've been going for a long period of trying to get to lower your body fat. You're trying to get to low body fat percentage. When you've reached that point, you may maintain that point, or you could do reverse diet. So slowly adding calories in as a form of bulking and reestablishing a normal eating practice or process. So it's sometimes what bodybuilders do. It's a healthier process than some bodybuilders do, who get to a super low body fat percentage on stage, and you see them, they eat like 10 million calories in 2 days, and then they crash and they take ages away from lifting, and it obviously very bad for their health. Not that bodybuilding to that point isn't a bad health choice anyway, but it's a more sustainable way to hopefully maintain low body fat while slowly building up to more reasonable calories and more bulking. So slowly into a bulk / maintenance phase.
So as someone that is new to reverse dieting, how should they approach this after dieting for a while?
So basically, I would really just slowly add more calories. So it depends what your calories deficit was before and how much weight you're going to gain afterwards. But I would probably, if you reach the lowest point, I would add, say, 250 calories, something small. The idea for reverse diet is you do it very slowly, systematically. So add 250 calories per day for the week. Probably do it for 2 weeks or so. See how your body weight responds. You may jump up, you may jump down. And then slowly add maybe 100 calories every 2 weeks after that. Just to really gradually do it. That should help you keep the maximum leanness and also give your body a slight break and help you build some muscle and help you not feel like death all the time.
Okay, sounds good. That's it for me. Thank you.
And help you not feel like death. You're welcome. Thank you for the question, man. Thank you for coming on. Sorry for Ao's rudeness.
Yeah, thank you very much, dude. Sorry for Chris's.
I don't like this guy.
Yeah, whatever, right? Sorry for Chris being rude to me. I apologize for myself, and also sorry to the entire audience for this boring conversation between these two guys that share the same name. Like, come on, people, be original. Get a unique name like Ao or something. Right. So back to the fun part. Chris, you can stay in the panel if you want. You have the permissions to stay in the panel if you want. Right. So, Chris, continue the text-based question and make sure to have fun. And also, thank you very much, everyone who stayed to the very end. This is absolutely amazing. This is literally record-breaking. Since we've been doing this, I remember there was one day there was only 3 people, which we still soldiered through. We peaked at...
I appreciate that.
Yeah. We peaked at like 8 concurrent viewers on Twitch, and we consistently maintained around 5. I know a bunch of you are a bit like, that's absolutely nothing. I watch like iShowSpeed or Kai or, whoever gets like millions of views per stream, right? Brick by brick, guys, we're getting there. We're getting there. Takes time. And shout out to all the loyal supporters that have been here from the very start and consistent. Tiny, Shaq, Joe, Lobster, Army Vet Gaming, and can't forget him, Cap. Cap, can you just help me pronounce your name, because I always butcher it? So, and also to make sure you're still here and we haven't put you to sleep. I guess we put him to sleep. Yeah, actually,
we shout out to Fonte and Randy.
No, he's here. I'm joking. Hey, Cap, silent assassin.
Yeah, no, it's just Capra Sutras.
Perfect. I'm not going to attempt it. Right. Cool. Thanks for open answering Tech's question. Right. Okay. Wookie does have a question. Feel free to ask a question. And guys, stop changing this dude's name. I know he's probably not going to complain about it, but go ahead, ask your question.
Hello, everyone. So my question is, Lobster and I, we've been recently doing a challenge in which we're seeing how many reps we can do within a set time limit, right? Whether it be push-ups or pull-ups and so on and so forth, right? But to some extent, this is beneficial and it can also be detrimental, right? So I'm wondering how much volume or how many reps is too many reps? Like that's my question. Like how much should we be pushing ourselves to like knowing how much we're capable of to knowing how much we should be backing off of. Does that kind of make sense?
I think I get what you mean. I will add the question of which exercises this for, so it doesn't make a difference.
So as an example, in the server recently, over the last 2 weeks or so, we've been proposing a competition in which who can get the lowest timing for doing 100 pull-ups, right? And we've gotten ranges of 8 minutes to 17 minutes and in between and so on and so forth. And in the last week or so, I've done this twice now. But I'm wondering, like, should I kind of back off at that point, or should I just stick to once a week, or should I try to increase my number of reps so that I can try to score for a lower time?
Okay, that was a good question. So this sounds like something that used to be popular before. Well, popular. It used to be a thing a while ago called EDT or escalating density training. If anyone's old enough to remember what that is, then you're probably about my age. So sorry about that. It's also a great way to increase the work. So density training is basically trying to do more work within the same time period. This is one example of it. If I were you doing it, and Lobster wasn't listening, then I wouldn't do it every time. I think I would try to build a wide base for pull-ups. So do more reps over a longer period, and then maybe test it or try to beat the record once a week. I'd also get in some weighted pull-ups, just some extra strength training to it. But I'd also try to get lots of reps in over the week, spread it out, and then maybe peak down for it to actually beat Lobster for it. But density training is good, but I think you got the nail on the head there. If you do it too often, you're probably going to get some overuse injuries. So do be aware of your shoulders and elbows if you're doing pull-ups for millions of reps. You can also check out stuff by you probably know him already, but Jamie Lewis, kind of a crazy guy, but he's got a real big thing for pull-ups, or did at least. I'm not sure if he's still creating new content, but he had a really big thing about pull-ups for a while. I wouldn't recommend just trying to beat the record every time, but I would focus on skill and practice and do lots of sub-maximal sets. That's my bit of advice for it.
Okay. So as an example, so Lobster here, he stated before that he's done anywhere between 40 to 100 per day, right? So at that point, like I myself had considered that option as well, to complete anywhere between 50 to 100 per day. So at that point, would you recommend just knocking it down maybe by 30%, 20, 25%, 50% or so, and then just gradually going about your week, and then attempting it maybe once every 2 weeks or so at that point?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe every 2 weeks would be a good idea, I think. And it depends how you can do lots of reps each day, but make sure they are sub-maximal, so you're not going anywhere close to failure. So if you can do, say, 15 pull-ups quite easily, maybe do sets of 8 to 10, and then slowly build up for that. You can do 10, 20 sets of that a day, to be honest. If this is your focus of your training, and obvious caveat as your diet is suitable for this, so your protein is quite high, I would quickly add that I wouldn't try to bulk too much, because if you add an extra kilo to a body weight for a pull-up, it's going to make it much harder to do that.
And then when it comes to pull-ups in general, right? So I've trained with using a belt and plates before, anywhere from 25 pounds to 45 pounds to 70 pounds and so on and so forth, versus just doing body weight pull-ups, right? In your experience and perspective, what allows for better training? Like, what is more efficient? And I guess, I mean, that's dependent on strength and endurance and your particular goals. But if, for example, you're able to do 15 to 20 pull-ups in a set, right? At that point, would you recommend just tacking on additional weights and training with additional weights on your body when doing pull-ups?
Yeah, good question. So it depends what your goals are. You can add weight, but there's also ways to make it more difficult. For example, I'm getting quite good at pull-ups now, so what I'm doing, instead of doing sets of 20, 25, I'm trying to add pauses at the top and bottom. So there's ways to intensify it and make it better like that. If your goal is to do the most pull-ups, then I would probably recommend adding pauses and adding difficulty in that way rather than adding direct weight. But I'd have to think about it more, and it's such a good question. I'll give you a proper answer next week. I'll think about this properly. I don't want to give you a bad answer, but I'd recommend adding pauses, and I'm going to write it down.
Wow, I've stunted Chris. Interesting. I think these are all the questions I had for the time being. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer all my questions, and that's it. Have a good day.
Perfect. Thanks for asking the question. Thanks. And also, we've got someone who's followed. Can't pronounce your name, but really do appreciate it. And I know you've just joined the Discord server. I don't know what's going on with your account, so try to accept you. If you do have any question, ask in the Twitch chat. And you'll be our first ever Twitch question, which is a new milestone. Breaking records today, every record. Cool. Right, Chris, I know it's gone over 1 hour. Cup just like, fuck it, I'm going to leave anyway. Do you want to keep doing the text questions, or do you want to call it a day and we can probably go through them next week?
I kind of need to run, to be honest.
Perfect. Absolutely understood. So this concludes this week's podcast. Really do appreciate everyone who stayed to the very end. Appreciate the entire staff team. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate the loyal, consistent people who consistently keep joining. And I hope you all have a very good day. Feel free to check out the VOD. The VOD's going to be on twitch.tv/AOKing. And also remember, this is actually the most important. If you didn't listen to anything today and you completely forgot, and Chris knows what's about to happen, this is the most important the most important thing you need to know. It isn't strike force. It isn't strike first. It is strength first. Make sure to support Chris STR first on all platforms. And I did it absolutely perfect for the first time. Best way to end the podcast. See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.